Hey y'all. Today's objective is the Pythagorean Theorem, and it was developed by a guy named Pythagoras a long time ago. The Pythagorean Theorem is used for right triangles. That's an RT, right triangles only. You can only use it for right triangles. And it's this equation, so make sure you get this equation down. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. A and B are legs of a right triangle. So A and B are the two legs. C is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. I don't know why they came up with that word. But the hypotenuse is the long side of the triangle across from the right angle. So if you find your right angle and you go across, that is the hypotenuse. The two legs are the ones that make up the right angle. So wherever your right angle is, the two attached to the right angle are the legs, and the side across from the right angle is your hypotenuse. And I'm going to show you today how to find missing sides A, B, and C. Alright, so find the missing side. Here we have a right triangle, and I have 3 and 4. Well, these two are attached to the right angle, so these are your legs. So what you do is you substitute those in for values A and B. It doesn't matter the order. I'm going to put 4 squared plus 3 squared, so A and B, equals C squared. I'm looking for C squared. I'm looking for this value. And if you need a calculator, you might need one today, but 4 squared is 16 plus 9 equals C squared. And 16 plus 9 is 25 equals C squared. And then to undo a square, you have to take the square root. So we're going to square root both sides because we don't really want C squared, we want C. And then when you take the square root of 25, it's 5. So C equals 5. So 5 inches. Alright, let me show you another one. In this example, it's drawn a little differently, but you notice the two sides that make the right angle, those are our legs, and so we're missing C. Instead of C, you see an X, because sometimes you'll see an X. We substitute in 5 and 12 for A and B. And then we're going to simplify that, 25 plus 144. And then you're going to add, and we get 169 equals C squared. So I've substituted my numbers in, I've simplified it out, and now I have 169 equals C squared. I don't want C squared, I want just C. So I need to take the square root. If you don't know what 169 is square root, you can use your calculator, but I know it's a perfect square, so C equals 13. So that means this is 13 centimeters. And just a quick note, numbers like 3, 4, 5, and 5, 12, 13 are called Pythagorean triplets or Pythagorean triples. And there are a few Pythagorean triples that if you know them, it will help make things easier for you because you'll just know, like 3, 4, 5 is a Pythagorean triple. So if you see a triangle with the 3 and the 4, you know this is going to be a 5. If you see a triangle with a 5 and a 12, then you know that's always going to be 13. Alright, so you try C. I've given you a triangle. I want you to find this missing side. Pause it, and then when you're ready to see the answer, press play. I think that's 225. 81 plus 144. 225, yeah. And then you have to take the square root. So C equals 15. Okay. I hope you got that one correct. If you didn't, then go back and rewatch it or ask me a question tomorrow. Alright, in D, it's a little different because in D, we're missing this side right here, which is one of the legs. I gave you C, and I gave you one of the other legs. So I'm just going to show you this one's a bit different. What I like to do is whatever's missing, I like to put that first so I know it's missing. So instead of, I'm missing A squared, so I'm going to put X squared plus B is 12 squared and then C is 20 squared. All right, so it's easier for me to put it first. You don't have to do that. You could put 12 here and X here. 20 has to go here because 20 is your C. So then I have, X squared plus 144 equals 400 because 20 squared is 400. I subtract 144 from both sides. So 400 minus 144 is 256. I hope you can see. I'm going to I'm going to square root 256 and X equals 16. So I know that my leg is 16 millimeters. I think. Let me check. Square root of 256. Yep, 16. So that one is a little bit different when you're finding a leg. I'm going to show you another example. All right, E. I have a right triangle and I'm missing this leg right here. So again, I like to just start with it first. So x squared plus 9 squared equals 13 squared. If it comes across from the right angle, that's always your hypotenuse, so that's your C. I'm going to simplify my values. I'm going to subtract 81 from both sides. So when you subtract 169 minus 81 from both sides, you get 88. And then we need to take the square root. Now this one is a little different because 88 is not a perfect square. You're not going to get a nice number with 88. So there's a couple of options you're going to estimate. Last year in 7 Plus, you learned how to estimate that to an integer or to a decimal. So I'm just going to type it into my calculator, square root of 88, and I get 9.38, which would be about 9.4. So about 9.4. So you might not always get a whole number. Sometimes you might get a decimal, and that is okay. You try F. I've given you A and C, and you're missing B. If you want to draw a right triangle, so 16, B, and 28. Pause it, work it out, see if you can find the missing value, and then you can press play when you're ready to see the answer. Now again, I like to put the missing one first, but in this one I'll show you that you can put it second and you're still going to come out with the same answer. So 16 squared, 16 squared, I think that is 256. Ooh, 28 squared, I don't know, 28 squared. Ooh, 784. When you get to this, we're going to subtract 256 from both sides. Then, final step is we're going to take the square root. So the square root of 528, and we get about 22.97, about 23. So if you have questions, write them down. You can ask me tomorrow, but this is an example where I found the middle value, I left the middle value blank. Or you can have put it in the first value and still would get the same answer. Alright, so some real world questions. Real world questions involving the Pythagorean Theorem are going to revolve around a right triangle. So how tall is the ladder? You see my house, and the ladder is next to the house. If you can see, I have developed a right triangle right here. So I'm missing how tall is the ladder. That would be the C, the hypotenuse. So I have my equation. 7 and 24 go into my legs. And then I'm going to, 7 squared is 49. 24 squared, I don't know what that is. So all of this together equals 625. Then I take the square root of both sides, and I know that it's 25. So my ladder is 25 feet long. That is an example of using the Pythagorean theorem in a real-world problem. So real world number 2, a flat screen TV is 15 inches tall and 36 inches wide. Find the diagonal of the TV. So if we have a TV that's 15 inches tall, 36 inches wide, we're looking for the diagonal. That would be your C. That is the hypotenuse, and that's how we measure TVs. When they say 52-inch screen TV, they're talking about the diagonal. So I want you to work this one out on your own using the Pythagorean theorem, and we will go over that one in class tomorrow.